So you're very welcome. This is the team of Cork College. We're all qualified herbalists and tutors with the college. And the idea today and tomorrow is to make a series of videos about natural healing protocols. And master herbalists are different from other herbalists in that they use a lot of natural healing, meaning they really focus on cleaning the colon, cleaning the liver, the kidneys, and really detoxifying the body as much as possible. And we put a lot of energy into advising our patients which foods they should increase in their diet and which foods they should decrease. So we're going to talk a lot about those protocols today. Okay, so I think we're probably going to start with garlic, Donna.
Yeah. Well, garlic is a brilliant example, Helen, of food as medicine. I tell all my patients and people who attend my workshops that it's a natural antibiotic. And it's best eaten raw because when it's cooked over 130 degrees Fahrenheit, its organic sulfur becomes inorganic sulfur, which is less helpful for the body. But people can take it internally or they can put it on topically. And garlic is antimicrobial, antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal. So, and it's also a fantastic warming herb. It's great for the circulation, and it's a probiotic as well. So it restores it feeds the beneficial gut flora and bacteria. So what I offer people when I ask them about garlic, and raw garlic, they go, "Oh, I can't take that." So there are lots of ways to take raw garlic, and I pickle it. And I pickle it in apple cider vinegar and tamari, and it's left on a windowsill for a month to sort of low heat.
Okay.
And after that, you can sweeten it if you want, but that's not necessary. And then you can take it one a day or 3 times a day if you have an active infection.
And at that point, would it be kind of an odor? Like often people, one of their things that they're a bit worried about is if they have garlic that they might smell. And what is that smell? What do you think is that smell?
Sulfur. It's the sulfur compound.
Okay.
Allicin that gives that its active ingredient.
Okay.
But no, once it's pickled, that pungency has really softened. It doesn't taste anyway. It obviously doesn't burn you because raw garlic would burn.
It's just quite,
contact to the skin, but it loses that pungency and it's very pleasant. Actually.
It's a bit more nutty, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
I never tried it.
The thing about garlic is that I discovered that actually the reason people have such a strong odor when they take garlic is that it's powerfully detoxifying and cleansing. Yeah. So if you keep taking it for a few days, that stops. And eventually you get to a point where you can eat a lot of garlic and it doesn't have that effect because it's done its job already.
Okay.
So the thing is to persevere. There's one thing you need to say, which is a caution about garlic. While you can use it externally, you do need to put it into olive oil because if you put it directly on your skin, it will burn your skin. But I had a friend of mine recently actually had a bad flu and she put some crushed garlic into olive oil and put it on her feet and put some plastic bags on her feet and then her socks on. Not recommending you do that. That's just a story, okay? Please don't, because people have different kind of feet conditions. But she got rid of her flu overnight. It was very interesting.
Very good.
Yeah, but you do need to with everything we're talking about, we do need to really consult a herbalist.
Of course.
Or a medical professional because it's important. Herbs are powerful. And we need to make sure we don't make any mistakes. So don't. This is more for educational purpose and interest.
Yeah.
Don't go trying out everything, please, without doing more research or contacting the college. And you can always come and have a consultation in our herbal clinic as well.
But a good thing about garlic is what I find, like whenever we tell patients to take more garlic, they often ask how to do it. So of course you can crush garlic and add it into your foods. But a good idea if they're finding that kind of that pungy, that spicy kind of effect, that hot effect that garlic has, is to just crush it in olive oil, leave it for like 30 minutes, and then it's much easier to consume.
Yeah. And the olive oil would actually have the medicinal qualities then, wouldn't it? Yeah.
So you can add it on your salads, on whatever it is that you're eating. So.
Yeah, my mother, God rest her, had a story of a gentleman in our town who had liver cancer. Again, this is just a story. But he ate copious amounts of garlic. And she told me that he lived for many, many years. But they always knew when he was coming to their meetings because he had a lot of detoxifying to do. They could smell him coming around the corner. But anyway, garlic is an amazing herb and it's really good for cleansing the blood generally. So it's very good for breaking down fats and just generally great detox herb.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the first things that I kind of got into when I started the course. And I kind of started because my daughter had chronic reoccurring ear infections. And we made a very simple garlic oil and we just used it. And she had an abscess in her ear and the abscess burst. And we used the garlic oil and she never, ever got an abscess again after that. Now, we did change her diet. There was no dairy involved, but she never got an abscess again in her ear.
That's inspiring.
So it's pretty fantastic. I also had a horse that had a really nasty infection in its leg, and we just washed it with a diluted garlic tincture and a little bit of echinacea tincture as well, and it was fantastic. It cleared the infection really quickly, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the course where you offer the living food accreditation as well, a couple of the recipes include raw garlic, and it's a real easy way to get raw garlic into your diet. One of them is Mojo Rojo and Mojo Verde. And they're absolutely gorgeous. Whenever people taste it, they go, wow, that's going to be fantastic. It's basically cashew nuts soaked with either the Mojo Rojo has red peppers and chilies in with a whole bulb of garlic, and Mojo Verde has coriander. And they're absolutely gorgeous, and we get to taste some.
And they last for ages. If you add garlic to a French dressing or to a mojo or anything like that, it will last for ages in the fridge because it's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, antimicrobial. So it's a great preservative as well.
One tip, many, many years ago, I went to India, and to kind of prepare myself going to India, I wanted to make sure that my immune system was as clean as possible. And I think it was half a bulb of garlic every day for about 2 months. And one of the tricks to try to kind of avoid the bad odor, because while I was detoxifying, I started taking a lot of raw parsley, and I found that really helped.
Yeah, that's meant to be a good trick.
And I remember when I got to India, I was looking for garlic, and in some places in India it's a little bit tricky to get garlic, and eventually I actually stumbled upon a whole shop that sold nothing but garlic. And I thought it was amazing. Like, they had all of these all the types of bulbs of garlic just there. It was just amazing. It was really inspiring.
Did you know back in 1916, the British government paid 1 shilling for a pound of garlic when they asked the public to grow it because they needed it for the battlefield? Europe. The raw garlic was juiced and mixed diluted with water and put on sphagnum moss and put on the wounds of the soldiers. Really? And none of them ever experienced sepsis. Yeah. So it was, and even in the bubonic plague back in 1722 in Marseille, there's a famous story about 4 thieves who were able to rob dead bodies during the plague because they were drinking this 4 thieves vinegar, which was really garlic steeped in apple cider vinegar.
That's really interesting. I have a story. I won't say the name of the person, but she was very famous. But she actually had lost a leg in a demonstration years ago in the UK, and she had gangrene. I mean, they were, amputating parts of her leg and more. And Brian Clement told me the story. And eventually his wife, Anna Maria Clement, who was a naturopath and healer, herbalist from Sweden, treated her with garlic, and that's what saved her, really. Okay. So and they used to call it Russian penicillin.
Yeah, and you have a great story about Russian
penicillin.
Trickle.
Which one is that?
About how in the whole during the Russian
Revolution. The same thing as well.
It's the same
story. They save people's lives with it, So what else is about garlic that's interesting?
Isn't there whole books wrote about the benefits of garlic?
Yeah.
Well, the pyramids were built back in Egypt.
Yeah.
The workers were paid in onions and garlic. It was a form of currency. And at one time, whenever they actually went on strike because they weren't being paid enough onions or garlic. Because it was considered that valuable. It's been used for centuries and centuries.
Yes.
Interesting, isn't it?
So it's kind of one of those herbs that a lot of herbalists would say if you had to go on an island on your own and you had to pick one herb. Yeah. Sometimes it's as simple as just garlic.
Yeah. And it's super easy to grow.
Yeah, super easy to grow.
So easy to grow. And you always have a lovely crop over the winter then as well.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
It's interesting, that there are a lot of writings in Ireland from the 1400s to the 1700s, medical manuscripts written in the vernacular, which means in Old Irish. So herbal medicine was a big thing in Ireland. We were very famous for herbal medicine. But I know an academic person who's involved in the collation of those manuscripts, and I was able to read a little part. And we were debating whether whatever was mentioned, well, I forget the name of it now, but whether it was actually garlic or onion. And she was saying the debate, people were wondering, they weren't sure which it was. But as a medical herbalist, I could tell straight away that it was garlic by the application. So we were just saying yesterday, if we ever can do some project with helping to get these works translated, and it would be great to have herbalists involved.
Definitely.
Because only herbalists would be able, I mean, they wouldn't know ancient Irish or medieval Irish, but they would know the use of the herbs. And obviously you'd have to have the knowledge of the Irish herb names as well. But you could tell straight away that it was garlic. And I think it's very different to onions. But onions are also used. And my father told me that when they were sick, their mother would cut an onion in half and put it on a plate beside the bed, and the emanations from the onion were enough to get rid of flus and colds.
Yeah. And wasn't onion traditionally used like in cases of pneumonia? Not that we're suggesting that could be the only solution, but with pneumonia, I think you would cut the onion and...
That's right. Sorry, again, I'm interrupting. But yeah, my father had pneumonia one time, and we did that, and it really turned him around. It was David Christopher who told me about it, a very famous American herbalist, the son of John Ray Christopher. And what you do is you cook the onions, you chop the onions nice and small, and you cook them in a pan of olive oil on a very low heat until they're glassy. And then you put a piece of muslin on the person's chest. And when the onions are cooled, you put on the onions on top and just keep the area warm and leave it like that. And it breaks up the mucus. It's a fantastic traditional remedy for upper respiratory conditions.
It's really powerful and it really works,
really
which is amazing.
How my herbal career started at the age of 9 was I did an onion poultice on my little brother's neck. He had a crick in his neck. And I made an onion poultice and put it on, and the next day his neck was cured. So that was the
But
start
how did you
of
even
it.
think of it? How did you?
Because I would have seen my granny would have done bread poultices and onion poultices, So I decided to give it a go, and it worked a treat. So that was the path. I knew that was the light.
You became a herbalist. That's lovely, So you kind of had it in your family, really.
Yeah, so I would have seen my grandmother. She did a lot with poultices and stuff like that,
And she's the kind of the main person in your family that would do things like that?
Yeah, she would have done all of that. And not so much with herbs, but she would have done a bread poultice, an onion poultice. She would have used nettles a lot as well. But it was just it was whatever was there in the house.
Interesting.